stop till I wear the crown. I swear to God they all let me down. I always fought just to win the crown. I'm pissed off at these fucking clowns. I'm on top, they deserve it now. It's only worth it if you work for it.
Yo, what is up? Welcome to the All Elite Dirt Sheet, your AEW Dynamite post show. I'm your host, Mike De Niro. I'm joined once again by my man, TK in the building. What is good?
Yo, what is up, De Niro chat? Man, what a night, baby.
Dude, this show severely missed you after Dynasty. I was like, I got no one to bounce this shit off of, man. I'm so glad you're back, bro.
Bro, you killed it. I just want to give you your shout outs, your props, man. I went back, I listened to the next morning because unlike you, I was passed out, man. It was wifey's birthday. I was passed out right after the show. I was like, my eyes were staggering during that main event. Great main event. MJF and Kenny killed it, man. What a match. But you killed it. If you guys didn't catch it, go back, check it out. It's right here on the Debate Network. My dude slayed it solo 1 a.m. Come on, man. My God.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you. But yeah, I am excited. I think that tonight is going to be one of our biggest shows because tonight was a huge episode of Dynamite. First and foremost, we already got 42 people up in here. Thank you so much for joining. We got Dom in the chat. What's good, man? Thank you so much for being here. Bro, Dynamite was huge tonight. Dynamite was a massive episode coming off of the heels of Dynasty. And I just want to get right into it. You ready to get right into this?
Oh, man, dude, I almost just want to go right into the main event, dude. I'm fucking
I was actually thinking about it. Do you want to just talk about the main event and then we'll let's do it?
Yeah, let's do inverse of what we usually do, dude. Yeah, let's flip it up a little bit. Yeah, for sure.
I like it, man. Tonight, Everett, Washington, the stomping grounds of Darby Allin. Darby Allin is your new AEW champion, defeating MJF in the main event. That was the opening match. I would have been very pissed off if this was the opening matchup. It ended up playing out throughout the show. I love the fact that during the show, we had different singles matches, and after every singles match, there was a mention of this matchup, whether it was Tommaso Ciampa getting on the mic and saying that Darby and MJF, I'm next. Kevin Knight getting on the mic saying Darby, MJF, I'm next. I love that it played out throughout the show and made this main event feel strong and special, and that's exactly what we got. I am so shocked it played out the way it played out. I did not think it was going to be virtually a squash match, but I think that it was picture perfect. The first thing that came to mind when I thought about this matchup, when I saw this matchup, it reminded me of Mick Foley winning the title on Monday Night Raw. This had that same feeling. That was a very special night. This is a very special night. Darby Allin, your new AEW champion. Talk to me, man.
Dude, it was awesome. First of all, come here. Hurry up. Come on. He's dying to get in here. So
Jameson! What's good?
The biggest Darby Allin fan in the world right here.
And he got Sting. I love it. I love it.
You want to say hi? Hi. All right, go back.
Are you happy Darby Allin's champion?
Did you hear what De Niro asked you?
Yeah.
You happy?
Are you happy Darby Allin's champion?
Yeah, you were going crazy, weren't you?
That's
Why
awesome.
are you being shy now? The kid's out here doing his own little podcast. He's being shy. You know why? Because it's late. Go back and lay down.
Love it.
Yeah,
Love
dude. It was listen. So when the show started and Darby's music hit and he had tears in his eyes, I was just like, oh my gosh, we can't be doing this. I texted you right away and I was like, no. I was like, we cannot have a show ruined. And again, it wouldn't be ruined, but show construction to me is so important with putting on a good show. Mm-hmm. This match clearly should have been the main event. But I was wrong. Great job, TK, setting the story up. All right. He told that story beautifully is what he did. He made us even more interested. MJF comes out and says, I'm not doing it. I have heard nothing. I've been off the radar. I'm sitting there like, what do you mean, man? It's been all over Twitter for days. Boy, what do you mean? He's been off the radar or whatever. So that was cool. Mm-hmm. The story was awesome. We always talk about we want the story to be told throughout the show. This match, the story was told throughout the show. And you're right, man. Mick Foley feels. When they announced this match, I was like, yeah, whatever. It's just like them telling the Darby story. He's going to build himself back up to a future world title shot down the road. Will Ospreay is going to get this title at All In. Mm-hmm. And then I'm like, no, man, I think we're going to get the Mick Foley. And because I forget that we could do, Tony Khan doesn't do it too often, except at the Trios title last month, which I love it. I'm with hot potatoing a belts every now and then. I have no problem with it, man.
It's needed sometimes.
Yeah, and the Trios division's been fun, dude. I love it, dude. I love that. I wish I got to talk about that with you on Sunday night for sure. But here, I'm totally cool with Darby getting the world title for a month and then losing it back to MJF at Double or Nothing. That just gives Darby his moment. He gives Darby the moment. We have talked about it on this network for like a year and a half, man. Darby was supposed to get his moment. Like, it was all built up over the summer for Darby to beat Moxley for the world title, to win the Owen Cup. It didn't happen. Obviously, he wanted to climb the mountain. So we said, when do we squeeze Darby in? Well, we found a way to squeeze Darby in, and I fucking love it, dude. There's sometimes wrestling just makes you feel like a little kid, dude. This made me feel like a little kid. Getting to watch with the little kid was really cool. But like, I felt every bit of the little kid inside, man. And Sting there backstage, not at Showtime. It's your time.
Love it.
It just was so emotional. Like, I've just been talking, and my bad, I haven't got to the match yet. But dude, it's just so cool, man. Darby's emotions just running wild all night long. I loved it. The dude was crying when the night started, but he didn't have tears coming out to the main event. He composed himself. Man, it was just so good. It was just, I can't believe it. Like, Jameson's like, 4 coffin drops. I'm like, dude, love how it went down, man. I love how it went down. Big kudos to Tony Khan for fucking having the cojones to pull the trigger like that, man. I love it.
Nah, yeah, man, 100%. Like, I didn't even mention Sting. When I saw Sting, we instantly text each other like, yep, he's winning it tonight, man. The emotion around this main event is something that we haven't seen in AEW for a long time. The last time I really felt emotion like this for a main event, I would say, was maybe Bryan Danielson's possible last match against Swerve. Exactly. Shout out to Bakley in the chat. Winning with the headlock takeover 2 was poetic justice. Shout out to Dylan in the chat. World Elite. Catch me on World Elite. I was on past Tuesday. It was awesome. Can't wait to go back. But he says, I hardly disagree with TK, but I hate it. Wow. I hate the way that they did it. Just give it to Omega. And at this point, run it back with Ospreay. You know what? We're going to talk about Omega and Ospreay for sure. There was some really cool, interesting stuff with Omega and Ospreay. But yeah, you know what? We were very, I guess, critical of critiquing the I'm overcome with emotion. We were critiquing the inclusion of Darby Allin in this main event scene, especially when we were seeing guys like Andrade and Swerve and Hangman and MJF, and it was like, where does Darby Allin fit in all this? We were saying that, hey, you know, this is a little forced. He's like getting shoehorned into it. This is just to have that match at Double or Nothing. I was even saying on Sunday that I was a little upset. What's good, Just? I was a little upset that Andrade lost the matchup. But there was something about the emotion tonight that really brought it home for me. And I was so happy by the end of this night that Darby Allin was champion. So that's, like you said, kudos to TK, kudos to Darby and MJF to make you care. And just kudos to AEW, because honestly, like I said, for weeks we were on here saying, why are we doing this with Darby? Darby feels forced. They should have did this last year with Moxley. Why are we doing this with Darby? And all of a sudden we're here, the big night, Darby wins. And dude, it's amazing. Exactly. Darby deserves it. I appreciate you, babe. Yep. Honestly, I don't know what else we could say about this. This was just absolutely awesome. Poetic justice and a big moment for Darby. Darby Allin's not a guy who needs a long title run either. Darby Allin does not need to be champion for months and months and months. So like you said, if Darby gets his moment, I'm not mad at Darby Allin possibly dropping this title at Double or Nothing in a month. So I think that you serve two, masters here. You got Darby Allin with the moment, and then MJF is going to win that title back. I already see people saying, like, how could you cut MJF's title reign so short? He was already the longest reigning champion, and then he won the title in December. He's already been champion for 4 months, and he's probably going to win it back next month. So I'm not mad at this. I don't think it really hurts MJF, and I think that it's fitting that Darby gets his moment. The guy climbed Mount Everest and put the fucking flag of AEW in the top of the world. Can we give this man the title? How are we fighting against this? Like, come on.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. And if you would have, thinking inside the box, I see why it looks like it's a bad idea. But at the end of the day, we're talking about Mick Foley. This also reminds me a lot of when Stone Cold lost the belt to Kane at King of the Ring. Kane only held the belt for one night before he lost it back to Stone Cold. Now I don't want Darby to lose the belt next week to MJF on Dynamite. However, holding it for a month, these guys like Darby and Mick Foley and Kane, these guys don't need the world title. Is it nice putting the world title on them, giving them that real credibility, that real relevancy, that world championship material? Sure, yes. But at the end of the day, once they're crowned the world champion, I mean, the story's always in the chase, right? Especially with a guy like Darby. So Darby doesn't need to be out here defending that belt over and over again. Win the belt, lose the belt. Now, I mean, these guys in the chat bring up, some real good points. With Darby and Kenny, and you got Ospreay still vying for the belt. I think like we both agree that Ospreay is going to win the belt. We'll talk about that Ospreay Kenny segment. I don't think that Kenny gets the belt before All Out. I think it still is going to be Darby to MJF to Ospreay. I think Kenny's got a lot of unfinished business with Swerve left, and then Kenny's going to have to build himself back up. Maybe Kenny takes the belt off of Ospreay. Ospreay. We'll talk about that Kenny Ospreay thing in a little bit again, but maybe that's where Kenny gets the belt. I can't. Maybe he gets one more match. Maybe it's a triple threat at Double or Nothing. Kenny, Darby, MJF. Maybe Darby doesn't even take the pin. Maybe Kenny takes the pin in the match. Like maybe Darby doesn't even lose the world title. I mean, there's a lot of ways that we can go. Regardless of what happened, man, tonight was awesome. And he doesn't have to hold the belt for very long, dude. At all.
Yeah.
Justin I see says I didn't like it either. MJF squashing MJF was an awful idea. MJF made that title feel like it was on a huge level. And I don't feel that way with Darby like I used to. I mean, I get what you're saying, but doesn't this help build Darby a little bit too, though? Like in like when the belt transitions back to MJF. I mean, I don't know. I love it though, and it also makes you think that if you tune in on a Wednesday night, that anything can happen, and that's great for the company.
No, for sure. I mean, AEW going on 7 years. If I'm not mistaken, this is only the second time in AEW history there was a world title change on television.
No shit.
Because Mox dropped it to Kenny Omega at Winter's Coming 2020. I can't think of another time.
When Moxley destroyed Punk, was that on TV?
That was on TV, I think, but that was title for title, interim champion. So like technically Mox was defending his interim champion. Like this is the first time we've seen like a clean title change since the Kenny Omega title change with Moxley at Winter's Coming 2020. So it does show that anything can happen. A lot of the times I see a lot of people give this is why I probably forced them to try. I was hearing that too. I was hearing that they had to cut their honeymoon short. Maybe they're going on a honeymoon. But a lot of the times I see the critique for AEW is the match outcome is predictable. This just threw that out the water. There's no more. It's predictable when a title change like this can happen at any moment. And that's what I love about it. Like you said, the hot potatoing of a champion, like the trios titles, it makes it unpredictable. You think that you're about to get this long reign with Jet Speed and Mystico, and all of a sudden the Dogs win it. And then 24 hours later, the conglomeration wins. And it's like, whoa, what the fuck just happened? I thought they were going, but whether we liked it or not, it's unpredictable. So like you said, there is a spot for hot potatoing a champion. I'm all with it. So yeah, I mean, do you want to go into the rest of the show?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
I'm down. Lots to talk about for sure. And what's up, Tony? Appreciate you tuning in, brother.
What's good, Tony? Now, yes, we briefly mentioned what happened to start the show. MJF arrives. He had no idea he was going to fight Darby Allin. Really good promo between the two. But since we already talked about Darby and MJF, let's go into the next segment. Right after it was announced for the main event that it's going to be MJF and Darby Allin, we got footage of after Dynasty in the training room, Kenny Omega and Will Ospreay. And this was very, very well done. Like, I love this. It was tremendous. It felt like Kenny Omega was like calling it quits. Like he's passing the torch to Will Ospreay. Like, this is your company now. I don't have what it takes anymore. I'm probably not going to get another shot. And Will Ospreay, he accepts it. He's like, hey, I'm making it known that my goal is still to be AEW World Champion. But he also gives Kenny some encouragement as well and says, no, you still got what it takes too. You still have, you're still the best battle machine. You still could be champion as well, which builds Kenny up again. And like you said, maybe Kenny is the guy to take this off Ospreay. I think that could happen very well now because I don't know, when Kenny left that segment, when he left the training room, he was like, yeah, maybe I do have one more opportunity in me. I feel before the year is up, yes, it's going to go back to MJF. Yes, it's going to Will Ospreay, but before the year is up, maybe even all the way to World's End, I do feel Kenny Omega is going to hold that title one more time.
Yeah, dude, it felt that way. And Kenny Omega should hold that title one more time. There's no reason that he should. He's Kenny fucking Omega, dude. The promo was fantastic. Ospreay is down because Mox just beat him. Kenny's down because MJF just beat him. I mean, they're two of the best in the company. They're two of the best in the world. Ospreay lifting Kenny up, the kiss on the head. I mean, what do you say? That you're a hero? You're my hero? I mean, like, dude, that's inspirational. And then Kenny's just like, yeah, you know what? Yeah, I got it. I loved it. I really did. And I think, everyone wants to dog AEW and not telling stories. I mean, I think this is the start to a real long-term story here that's going to pay off in 12 to 18 months. But I mean, Ospreay gets the belt in September, early September, as last week of August. So we'll call it, August, early September. Yeah, you can hold that belt to December. Kenny can beat him at Worlds on the year and go into 2027. Kenny Omega is the world champion for AEW. Totally cool with that, man.
Yeah, for sure.
It's a fucking monster marquee match between the two. I love it, man. I love what it's going to set up in the future for them. And it just also is going to, they're trying to tell some story with Ospreay, and we'll get into it when we talk about the Hechicero match. But they're obviously trying to tell some sort of story with Ospreay and the Death Riders that Ospreay is down. So this is Ospreay's build to ascension to the world title. And I'm all fucking for it because this guy came in to the company and was nothing but selfless, dude. He won a couple of those gauntlet matches and he won the international title, sure. But this guy, if he wanted to, could have politicked his way to the world championship long ago. He's been such a fucking, you could argue he's been the best in the company since he's been there, hands down, and he hasn't been touched the world title. And I know what you and I are like, why put the world title on this guy? So I can't wait to watch the Summer of Ospreay, I'm going to call it, and watch them build this man to the world title.
Yeah, you know what? I always tell my wife, because she agrees with me, and I know this might sound like a wild statement, but not since Cody left AEW did I see a babyface in AEW really like capture the imagination of the crowd like Will Ospreay. And I really do feel like Will Ospreay is the face of AEW, the unofficial face of AEW. And like you said, he could have been world champion when he went against Swerve at Forbidden Door. He could have been world champion when he went against Moxley. He had opportunities, but he was selfless. He definitely put over a bunch of guys, and they say, tides rise, high tides rise all boats, whatever the saying is. I'm tired. But the thing is, that's exactly what it is, Will Ospreay. Not only did he come in as a big star and put on some of the best matches in AEW history, but look at the guys like Kyle Fletcher, who really grew having that feud with Ospreay. Look at someone like Swerve Strickland, who everyone thought, wow, Swerve is going to have a transitional title reign because he's going to drop it to Will Ospreay. No, he puts Swerve over, and Swerve goes on to have a great title reign. So I really, really think that he's done already what he needs to do to help everyone else elevate. I think it is time that we start, like you said, the rise of Will Ospreay to the world title at All In. And I think it's coming this year. 100%. 100%. Then after all that, we get to the first matchup of the show. There was a lot that happened before the first matchup. And the first matchup was a very fun matchup. It was Desmond Xavier from the Rascals versus Tommaso Ciampa. And I swear, ever since we mentioned that Ciampa is a Collision guy, this guy's been wrestling on Dynamite weekly. Yeah. Really fun matchup, though. I enjoyed it. A lot of great chemistry between these two. And I also like the fact that after the matchup, Tommaso Ciampa got on the mic and said he came to AEW to win it all. This is where the best wrestle, where he wants to wrestle the best. And he wants the winner of MJF and Darby Allin. Maybe that's what we see for the next month. Maybe we see Darby Allin and Tommaso Ciampa mix it up. I would not be mad at that. No.
Ciampa's been great since he's been in AEW. Real fun match. Kind of reminded me of an old school black and gold match between these two. I love when you get different generations of NXT mixing it up, even if it's in AEW. So that was cool. Ciampa can do no wrong right now. The man is flawless. Loved the promo after the match. I thought it was interesting. He was going like right to the world title, like maybe go and get Sylvie back or something first, or maybe go after the Okada or something. But whatever, or Jack Perry. I mean, fuck there. I think there's a lot of options that he could have went after, but the world title was the focus of the whole night, and that was the story, and I'm not going to bitch about it.
Now, exactly like what we said earlier, this is not the only match where the world title is mentioned after the match. It makes the world title matchup seem that much more important that, we said when MJF won that title, the moment he won that title, the next Dynamite, you had all his contenders shoot their shot. You had Hangman, Swerve, Kenny Omega, Samoa Joe. Now, even before Darby wins that title, we have a bunch of people shooting their shot with Tommaso, Kevin Knight, and I'm sure MJF, he's going to be very vocal on wanting that title back. But it just sets the table. I love it. Stories being told in AEW. Who would have thought, right? Who would have thought the stories being told in AEW? Speaking of stories, we next get FTR. They come out and they basically run down Cope and Cage. They said that their time is over. Dax, he talks about how the fans are fat losers, just like Cope and Cage. They're not ever going to get another title shot again. They gave them their spot. They gave them their shot at relevancy, and they failed. Stokely gets on the mic, and he compares this to David and Goliath. He says that FTR is Goliath, and we have a bunch of false Davids. everyone who thinks they could take down the giant, but no one in AEW could take down the giant of Goliath. FTR has ran through every team in AEW. So he said TK is probably going to go to CMLL, probably going to go to New Japan Pro Wrestling, bring in more teams, but it doesn't matter. No one's going to be able to take down FTR. And then something that I thought was pretty funny. I had to explain it to my wife and my son, who was a little confused, but I had to explain it. It was cool. But then Cash gets on the mic, and they, for the benefit of the people that came with flash photography, which I don't know in 2026 if anyone has flash photography, but they did a 10-second pose. It's obvious that we're going to continue this feud with Cope and Cage and FTR. I don't think that there's any possibility that Cope and Cage moves on to something else. How they get back there, I don't know. I said it on Sunday. You could have the out that Stokely was constantly getting involved. Maybe they find a way to get back in, have Beth involved. Beth is outside to counteract Stokely. But I like this with FTR. And if we see some international matches with teams from New Japan or CMLL going against FTR, I'm all for it.
Yeah, that would be cool. I thought the promo was awesome. Yeah, I like really good. I thought Stokely, it might have been one of his best promos. He was just on it, man. He was on fire. Yeah. He was on point.
Still no hose though. Just saying.
Yeah, he doesn't need hose. What do you tell you? What do you tell you tonight? I don't need no hose. I got the fucking tag team champions. All right. But I thought the promo was really good. It was deflating though after they hit the 10-second pose and nobody came out. I mean, we beat Brodito and we beat the Young Bucks, and we beat Cope and Cage, and we beat the Gun Club or the Bang Bang Gang, whatever. Okay, cool. Then send another tag team out there for at least one night to get in their face instead of a match for Collision tomorrow or something, or a match for next week, and they just didn't do that. So that kind of, I felt like they missed the mark there. And then I think that we just need to get into this Young Buck FTR Cope and Cage match. That's that. I think that's the way to tell a story. Just get the three teams together. How you do it, I don't know. FTR looked real strong tonight, and FTR looks real strong. Period. Right now, they just beat Cope and Cage pretty much clean. Obviously, Stokely got involved 15 times, like you hit on in the post show. But I mean, like as clean as it's going to get, right? And then you got the Young Bucks laying around, but it needs to happen sooner than later. I don't know. I guess I was just a little disappointed that nothing. Didn't it feel like someone was supposed to come out? Maybe like the Hurt Syndicate. Like why not Bobby and Shelton right there? I know you don't want. They're not going to lose the FTR, so I guess maybe politically speaking, you can't do that. But fuck, man, something.
I did have that same feeling that we had. I believe it was last week when MJF wrestled Mike Bailey, and then at the end of it, it just was like dead open air, and we were like waiting for something to happen, and it didn't. Oh, that was 2 weeks ago. Waiting for something to happen, nothing happened, and it was like, all right, it was good until it felt awkward, and we don't want things to play its part and feel awkward. So maybe instead of 5 seconds and giving the 10 seconds for the flash photography, maybe they should have just did the 5 seconds.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and like cut it.
And also, by the way, Dylan, we definitely need you on the show as well, man. We would love to have you on, bro.
Hell yeah.
So next up on the night, we have a TNT Championship matchup. The new champion, Kevin Knight, versus Claudio Castagnoli. Before we get into this matchup, though, I do want to ask you your opinion. We were very vocal on Kevin Knight, being having a bright future, having, a big upside. Kevin Knight is now the holder of the TNT champion. What did you think about him winning it at Dynasty?
Interesting. I didn't, I don't know why I didn't think about him in the match. I thought Brody King was going to win it. Brody wasn't even in the match, so that was intriguing. Once I saw Kevin Knight was in the match, I was like, ooh, all right, and I love it. I'm with it. He's showing some signs of I'm not gonna say heel tendencies, but he's definitely showing more swag, which I like with blinging up the belt and shit. He even said like Speedball, my bad, bro. I know we were trios champions the night before. And, sometimes you got to move on. You got to do things. So I'm like, okay, maybe we're setting up Kevin Knight's Speedball feud. Maybe Kevin Knight's that guy to join the Hurt Syndicate. Like he won the belt clean as a babyface. And then maybe wild champion, he can transit. I mean, the Hurt Syndicate aren't heels anyways. They're just like
badasses.
Cool yeah, badasses, right. So like maybe he fits them now into what they're doing. So I would love to see him wrapped up with the Hurt Syndicate in what they're doing, especially because he's basically got over as a star on his own. So I'd love to. I think that they can elevate him even further into this role. But I'm with the dude, and beating Claudio clean. Oof, man, it's a big win, dude.
Big win, definitely for your first title defense, Claudio. A really good matchup. Yeah, you know what? Like, I'm going to call it right now. I wrote this down too. I thought we were going to see the Hurt Syndicate. We haven't seen them on Dynamite. We saw glimpses of them on Collision lately. Talk about wanting a fourth member. I think it was the interview with Chris Van Vliet when he had MJF. I mean, not MJF, MVP on, and MVP was talking about giving advice to people like Kevin Knight and brought up, telling Kevin Knight when you're cutting a promo, just have more swag and just like really lean into it instead of being all like classic wrestling promo, screaming, like just like be laid back and chill. And it's going to really help you out a lot. So you already have, MVP playing a real life mentor to someone like Kevin Knight. It would fit perfectly to have Kevin Knight with the Hurt Syndicate. And I also like the fact that he was kind of dismissing Mike Bailey being disappointed in losing those trios champions. I talked about it on Sunday that if you remember, Mike Bailey looked a little disappointed. Like Kevin Knight was celebrating he's the champion and like it looked like he was all right, I'm on my own now. And Mike Bailey was like, damn, all right, bro. So I do think that we're going to get a situation where this team breaks up, whether it means Kevin Knight goes heel or is just a solo wrestler going forward. I'm excited for it. And I think that for all the talk that we had about this guy being the future, it's very possible this guy could be the right now. So I'm very excited about that.
Bro, and you tell me you don't want to see Kevin Knight and Speedball. I mean, we saw it in the Continental Classic, but you don't tell me that you don't want to see that double or nothing for the TNT Championship.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Come on, 100%. Man. That's a fucking banging TNT Championship match, dude.
OPC was good.
Hey, love you, Poppy.
So let's get into this. Let's get into this Chris Jericho segment. We have Renee Paquette. Gosh, I'm living in 2017. Renee Paquette, she comes out, she brings out Chris Jericho. I was very vocal about being confused by Chris Jericho losing the matchup on Sunday. He comes out here, he talks about how it was great to be back in an AEW ring, and he doesn't think that he lost because of ring rust. He thinks that he lost because there was a 3-on-1 disadvantage with the demand constantly getting involved. This led to Ricochet coming out. Ricochet cut a average promo. I like Ricochet, but he's not the hottest on the mic, and he was basically saying that every time Jericho shows up, the man's going to be right there to kick his ass. Chris Jericho cuts a funny promo to start a fight with Ricochet, calling him bald like 1,000 times. I thought that this was entertaining. We end up getting the 3-on-1 beatdown. I mean, to be honest, I'm excited Jericho's back. Jericho had a great showing on Sunday. He wrestled very well, right? But unless this is going to lead to Brian Keith and Big Bill rejoining Chris Jericho and being more serious this time, I think that this was basically pointless. Like, I think we can move on with the Ricochet Jericho shit.
Oh, yeah. I thought we were done with it after Dynamite. I was surprised we were going back there. But again, just like I just talked about with FTR, this segment left me feeling flat. And maybe that's what they want. They're trying to slow build to Dynasty. But man, Jericho's out here talking about he lost because he had a 3-on-1 disadvantage. And then he gets jumped 3-on-1 again. It was like, all right, I thought that someone was going to come and save Jericho, setting up like a 3-on-3 next week or setting up something towards double or nothing. And I'm telling you, I mentioned it last week, I believe, or 2 weeks ago when Jericho returned. Maybe it was last week. I think this is setting up, and I don't know that I want it, but I think it's setting up for the learning tree to come back and help Jericho's faces this time. Yeah. I like Big Bill. I like Brian Keith. They're being utilized in ROH, I believe. We haven't seen them in AEW in quite some time. Very, very talented dudes. I mean, they got the fucking tag team title shot, I think, like a year ago against the Hurt Syndicate on pay-per-view. I mean, they must be talented. I think they're going to come back and save Jericho. I don't know if that's exactly what I want, but I think that that's the trajectory we're leading down. Is that what you think too?
Now, yeah, I honestly thought that they were going to come out tonight. I thought when Jericho was getting beat down, I was like, all right, here comes Big Bill and Brian Keith. Didn't happen. I know people are going to be very scared because the last we saw of Jericho with Big Bill and Brian Keith as the learning tree, that's when people really start to sour on Chris Jericho and having all this TV time and taken away from young guys and everything that people were criticizing him for. So I could see people being a little upset about putting that threesome back together. But I think that if you switch it up a little bit, if you have Brian Keith, Jericho, and Big Bill as a more serious trio, I think that would be probably beneficial and will work better. And it would also give Big Bill and Brian Keith a spot on the show. Cause like you said, two guys who are uber talented, and I would like to see more on Dynamite. I mean, let's be real. I love Ring of Honor. I've been to more Ring of Honor shows than I've been to any other company in the world, but who's really checking for Ring of Honor right now? Right. So I really would love to see these guys on Dynamite. So I would not be mad at it.
Yeah, that would be cool.
So next we're going to get into the next matchup. I was very excited once I saw this matchup was announced. Hechicero versus Will Ospreay. Will Ospreay, who's coming off of the defeat from Jon Moxley. He's in rough shape after that match with Moxley. Hechicero, the alchemist of the ring, you knew he was going to go in there and he was going to work the neck. And I thought this was a very fun matchup. I thought that, they had good chemistry with each other. But like you said, they are telling a story in the ring. It's not just them verbally saying it. They're telling the story in the ring. Did Will Ospreay come back too soon? Is Will Ospreay's neck in such bad shape that he needs to take time off again? This is the second match that Will Ospreay had in a row where there was a long period of time where Doc Samson is checking on him because he's having neck trouble. He's in a lot of pain. So he had the Kinezo tape. What is it called? What kind of tape is that?
I don't know, but I thought AEW had a sponsorship by them or something. They mentioned it so many times on Sunday.
Dude, so many times, and he was filled with it tonight. And it was very telling because, like you said, how are we going to take this guy who is still in such pain, still practically injured, came back too soon from the injury and from surgery, and now we see he's having neck pain in the ring. He's getting worked over in the ring, needs the doc to stop the matchup and really check on him. How are we going to take this guy in just a few short months, because the time is going to fly by, and take him all the way to the world title? It's very interesting. I love it. I think that it's giving Will Ospreay a deeper story, and it's going to make people feel more sympathetic for Will Ospreay in this situation.
Yeah, it's intriguing to me. I personally wouldn't have booked Will Ospreay in a match tonight. I mean, he just fucking got fucked up by Jon Moxley on Sunday. It's Wednesday. Why is he in the ring already? I get he's trying to prove to himself that he's good to go, but damn, man. And now you got the Don Callis family involved with Ospreay. You got Dump Truck Davis come out after the match. You got the United Empire ties there. They did hit on that on commentary, which I respected. Dude, Davis looks phenomenal. Just phenomenal. Every time I see him, he looks more shredded, dude, which is like 3 times a week because he's on fucking TV every week.
He had a great match with Jack Perry. So, like, I'm excited to see him in this with Ospreay for sure.
Yeah, and it's going to bang, dude. It's going to be so good. I can't wait to see the one-on-one. But so what do we got? The Don Callis family and the Death Riders working together now, which makes no sense because we had the Don Callis family and the Death Riders feuding like, I don't know, 6 weeks ago. So what are we doing? What are we doing with the whole thing, I guess, is my question. I know what we're doing with Will Ospreay. We just talked about that. But are we doing it too soon with him? I don't know. Whatever. The match was great, though. I love Hechicero, man. And Ospreay is fantastic. The match was awesome. I don't like he's the CMLL world champion, right? Hechicero. Yeah. I mean, you didn't see Claudio losing clean very often when he was CMLL world champion. So I hope that they give Hechicero the same respect that they gave to Claudio. And don't just have him fucking Takeshita when he was the IWGP world champion. He was not here just eating losses like that. So they better, Tony, well, I know you're listening.
Put some respect on Hechicero's name.
Put some respect on Hechicero's name, bro. I'll leave it right there.
No, for sure. I totally agree. So next up on the show, we had Renee come out. She was interrupted by Tekla, who was in the crowd. Tekla kind of in a promo like how she does, she has this like little ghetto European swag to her, which I like. Cursing the storm, and the kid is like right next to her staring at her, and she's like, all these dumb bitches, and this kid's like up like, huh? So she's interrupted by Alex Windsor, who got the victory against Marina Shafir on Sunday. I am excited for this because I think that Alex Windsor is really talented. I just think that this was a little bit of a miss on the show. The Sisters of Sin got totally played out tonight. I like Sky Blue. I like Julia Hart, and Windsor took them out. A 2-on-1 assault that she took them out like with no effort. So I feel like at least you could have had Jamie Hayter come out and help fight off the Sisters of Sin. We didn't get that. We just had Alex Windsor look like a fucking, She-Hulk out there and just take out the Sisters of Sin in a couple seconds after a from behind jumping, no less. She gets jumped from behind and she takes them both out. That was a little too much too soon. And to be honest, this felt like a miss to me.
I think that he still has no idea what he wants to do with the women solely because of Toni Storm. Like it's crazy how one person can affect the division so much. And it has. It's been blatantly obvious. It was clear that it was going to be Tekla and Toni Storm feuding over this world title for the next couple of months, going back to the night that she got taken out. This Jamie Hayter stuff was very impromptu. The Mina Shirakawa match was very impromptu. Now we're getting Alex Windsor. Like this was all supposed to be a Toni Storm feud, and I think it's like blatantly obvious. I'm not saying like the Jamie stuff was good. The Mina stuff was good. Tekla's great. Tekla's awesome. The promo did feel a bit off. I don't know if it's just because like they were just saying like, I don't know, fucking Windsor was being real British and Tekla was being real like thug European, like you said. So I don't know if like that just like didn't connect, but I want to see the match. I love how they brought up their Stardom ties. I love how Windsor was like, you got fired in Japan, and I'm the basically the Japanese women's champion, and I mean the New Japan Strong Women's Champion. I know the fucking title, but she was insinuating that she's the champion of Japan of the women's side. And Tekla's like, I wasn't fired from Japan. What the fuck are you talking about? Well, actually, I was fired from Japan, but they couldn't handle me. Yeah, they couldn't handle me.
For sure.
So like that was cool. Tekla's great, man. She's really she's got a ton of swag, man. I like Tekla a lot. The match is they just announced it. It's going to be on Collision, which is tomorrow night, I believe.
Yeah.
So yeah, it should be a good match. I think it's for the World Championship too. So I mean, obviously Tekla's going over.
No, yeah, for sure. But like you said, it does feel like there's a domino effect. Tony Storm goes down, and there's like a tizzy. We don't know what's going on with the women. So hopefully they start to, because we got some big pay-per-views coming up. We got Double or Nothing, one of the biggest shows. We have All In coming up. Hopefully we can start, putting the pieces together and get the wheels back onto the boat here, or the car here. God, wheels don't have boats. I am really fucking up. But
Yo, I do want to say though, you're right about the Sisters of Sin. I mean, Julia Hart before she got hurt was the TBS Women's Champion.
Yes.
Dude. She comes back. She's with Sky Blue, which is great. She was with Sky Blue before. She was part of the house. She's supposed to stand out on her own now. And now, like, they join with Tekla, which I thought was awesome. But, man, they are just relegated to side pieces, which is not good because Julia Hart was the fucking TBS champion.
Yeah, 100%. And like I said, I don't even care too much about them being, like, behind Tekla. It was more of, like, don't punk them out like this. Like, if you're getting jumped from behind 2-on-1 odds, you would think that you would take the person out. Like, Windsor got right back up and took out both Sisters of Sin within, like, 2-3 seconds. It's like, that was insane to me. And like you said, you have someone who was TBS champion, looked like she was going to have such a bright, future. And now she's relegated to being just, I guess, like the lackey, for a lack of a better term, of Tekla. And that's a shame because she has a lot of upside, Julia Hart. She's young. She's talented, former champion. She has a great promo. She fucking sings her song, right? I love the whole entrance that she had as, when she was TBS champion. I just hope that we get back to some type of, I don't know. It just feels like she was like too much of a behind the scenes player, and I don't like that.
Yeah, no, I'm with you, bro.
So then we get to hear from Jon Moxley, and I actually really like this promo. I like the line that he said that, he doesn't take pleasure in making people suffer, but sometimes there's a beauty in it. And I like the fact that he didn't even know who he was going against or what the kid's name was for his eliminator matchup tomorrow on Collision. He was like, what's his name again? And they're like, Nick Wayne. And he's like, Nick Wayne, do something to impress me. I like what they're doing with Jon Moxley. Like, I know everyone's like, is he heel? Is he face? But I just like this badass character. Like, he doesn't need to be a heel or face. It's like, if you understand the mission of the Death Riders, you're going to see him as a baby face. And if you don't understand the mission of the Death Riders, he's a heel to you. And I think that gives him such layers, and I love it. This was a really cool promo for me.
Yeah, really good. Moxley's on fire still, man. Even like everything he does is gold. The match with Ospreay was fantastic on Sunday. So good, dude. The Death Riders, though. I'm starting to have a small problem with the Death Riders, dude. And it's not like that I don't like them as a group. Nobody in the stable other than the Moxley wins matches, dude. Claudio can't win a match. Pat can't win a fucking match. Danny and Wheeler. What? I mean, like, they are certified fucking jobbers. Danny and Wheeler are certified jobbers, bro. Which
should be a tag team. Like,
right. Just put them in a fucking tag team or put them with Pac or put them with Claudio in the trios division, dude, and just let them cook. These guys lose, and now you got, and Marina was being built up as a fucking champion, and now she's just losing and losing. So I don't know, man. I got a real problem with this group fucking eating so many losses. I know they're the Death Riders and they're fine eating losses. But, man, Moxley can't be the only one winning matches, dude. It's not a good look on the stable. Claudio out here losing clean to Kevin Knight. Danny, Pac, Wheeler, all in the fucking gauntlet match. None of them can walk away a winner. Man.
Yeah, it's a shame. I don't know. Like, I feel like we need to do something with the Death Riders. Have them turn heel. Have Claudio be the leader of the team. Take out John Moxley, and then you can have Moxley feud with all of them. That would be interesting. It'll be different. I don't know. I do like the whole thing with Marina, like being out there during Will Ospreay's match, and then Moxley saying, "Oh, how is he doing?" Right? Because Moxley he cares, but he doesn't care. Like, hey, you know what? Will Ospreay laid all his cards on the table. He let it be known that he wants to come for my neck. So I was going to end it, the way I end things. I just didn't want to do it like that. So, like, Marina, go see it. Is he okay? Like, it was interesting. I feel like it's a different layer to John Moxley.
Well, do you think that we're going to have this Moxley Ospreay feud continue and we're going to get this anarchy in the arena or stadium stampede between United Empire and the Death Riders? Or do you think like what we saw is what we got and that was the Death Riders versus United Empire and that was it?
You know what? If you asked me like a week ago, I would have 100% thought that this was going to continue to Double or Nothing. But with Will Ospreay making it known tonight that he wants a title, the world title, and he's still going for the world title. And with John Moxley, I guess, going on to the next thing, but keeping eyes on Ospreay, maybe we see another matchup between them two. I just don't think we're going to see the two teams feuding going into Double, or we would have saw something tonight, if you ask me, to see that continue to go to Double or Nothing with the, the Anarchy in the Arena. But first of all, Circle of Bagel, we appreciate you with the super chat. Thank you so much. And that's exactly what we're saying. Julia Hart was one of the most over people on the roster. So I think that they need to get back to that. And Steve-O, thank you so much for being here, man. I agree. Put Garcia and Yuta in the team. I thought that was the perfect spot for the Death Riders, putting them as a team, that being the tag team of the faction. Every faction should have like a guy going for the world title, a guy going for the mid-card title, a guy going for the tag team titles. It was perfect. I don't know what they're doing.
And in this case, you got fucking so many singles titles. You got Pat going for a singles title, Claudio going for a singles title, these guys going for a tag title. Before we move on, I do just want to say the best part about the whole promo was him saying this is Continental Rules, kid. Leave your mom in the back. I thought that was pretty fucking
Fireline. Fireline. Ever since we said a couple weeks ago that John Moxley's promo was really weird and just felt awkward, like he's been hitting some fire lines. So good for him. Let's talk about this TBS championship matchup, Willow versus Kamille. I was excited that Willow and Kamille was made for this show, but then during the matchup, even though it was a good matchup, I kept on questioning, was Kamille thrown into the mix for a title too soon? Because we haven't seen Kamille for like 500 days. Then she shows up on Sunday, and then she's instantly in a loss here to Willow. And I feel like, what are they doing with Kamille? This kind of is going backwards with her. Like, you bring her back, she has hype, she has size, she has star power, she's a hell of a talent. And first big match back, because I know she had the squash match on Sunday. First big match back, she's already losing. I understand I wouldn't want her to have had won the TBS champion in this situation, especially being the co-main event to another title change to the Darby and MJF. But then why book this? Why book this? They didn't have to do this matchup tonight. They could have continued this feud. I would have in mind if they built all the way to Double or Nothing with this feud. And they still might get there, but you're, basically killing Kamille in the water here by having her come back and losing right away. I don't know if you feel the same way. I just feel like for someone who everyone was asking for like 2 years, where's Kamille? Where's Kamille? Where's Kamille? She comes back, takes a loss. It's like, all right, well, now what do you do with her?
Yeah, I was surprised they brought her back and put her in this match in the first place, dude. I thought, man, she would have been perfect. We keep talking about this Harley Cameron heel turn where she goes after Willow. You know what she would have been perfect as? Harley is fucking heavy, dude. All right. Harley's bodyguard, helping Harley beat Willow for that title. That would have been a cool spot for her to come back. I love that she's back. It's good for her to be back. I think Gladiators is debuting soon, right? Like, so she's going to be on that. It's smart. Get her face on there. She's going to be on that. Should be national TV or Peacock or something, I'd imagine. Yeah. But get her face out there. She's uber talented. She's a monster. I'd love to see her mix it up with Megan Bain and Lena Cross somehow. I don't know if it'd be like a trios with them or just a one-off tag team against like maybe Stat and Sheeta and Willow or something. But it was interesting. I'm not sure why they threw her in the big match right away. I mean, I personally think that they could have saved this match for tomorrow night and then put the belts on her. But they obviously have bigger plans with Willow. They wouldn't have taken those tag belts off of her. They don't want Willow to lose this belt yet. And I think Harley's going to be the one to take the belt off of Willow, and we'll get there somehow. But I don't know where you go with Kamille from here, though. I mean, maybe she's just a player on the roster. Maybe she goes to ROH. Maybe it's just her bringing her back.
That would be a shame. I mean, to be honest, I think you should put her with Divine Dominion. Have just 3 big ass badasses just take everybody out. That would be fire, right? Let's see what OPC says here. He says Kamille finally came back after going the liquor for packs of Newports and bottle of wine about time. But she looks great, though. Great shape as well. I'm with you on that. Didn't make sense right away. But yeah, I honestly think that if you were going to bring her back, build her up a little bit. She didn't have much built. She had 1 squash match and then a loss. So I don't know what they do with her. Now we have the main event. We talked a lot about it. We've seen Sting before the matchup. Darby Allin, he's about to talk to Renee. All of a sudden, Sting is there. It was awesome to see Sting, like we said. We talked about the match. I want to know from you, now that we talked about the other matches on this show, we talked about Kevin Knight calling out the winner of this matchup. We talked about Tommaso Ciampa calling out the winner of this matchup. And we also both in our ingredients that Darby's probably dropping this title at Double or Nothing. What do you think the next month looks like for Darby Allin?
Oh man, I don't know. I didn't have this in my plans until I think like right before the show started, and I was like, I think Darby's gonna win this belt tonight. And it's like I can't take credit for it. I think I saw someone on Twitter say this feels a lot like Mick Foley, and I was like, oh shit. And then I thought about it, and then I think a lot of people were in agreement that he'll just have this belt for a month. The next belt, maybe we get a Darby Ciampa match. He says, I'll take on anyone, anywhere. We get, Ciampa, you want it? Let's go. I think, didn't Kevin Knight just get a world title match not long ago? Or did he say
right before the matchup with Hangman, I think it was.
Yeah, so I don't want to see him doing anything. I like the story that they were telling tonight by making the world title feel so important. And I think going back and thinking about the whole night now, which is maybe why they didn't do anything with the FTR thing. Maybe that's why they didn't do anything with the Jericho thing. Maybe they weren't trying to progress those stories until next week, because there's a fucking big story, dude. Like it's a big thing to focus on. So this was their singular focus. But yeah, maybe a Ciampa match. Obviously, we're gonna have him and Max are gonna go back and forth. Maybe Kenny Omega gets involved, right? Like Kenny said, if I win this title, Darby, I'm gonna give you a shot, right? Maybe Darby goes, hey, Kenny, I'll give you a shot. And Max is like, fuck you over my dead body, motherfucker. I'm the one getting the title shot. And then that sets up a triple threat between the 3 of them or something along those lines. But again, De Niro, Swerve Strickland.
Where's he been?
Nowhere to be found. He's from Washington. I thought he would come back and do something to Kenny tonight. But him and Kenny got some real unfinished business, in my opinion. And I think that you agree with me there. So I don't know. Maybe we don't get Kenny involved in this world title match. Maybe it's just Darby, Ciampa. We have a one-off match between them, and then it just leads to the Double or Nothing match between him and Max, where he loses the belt.
Yeah, man. Like I see exactly how you said it. Like I like the fact that they were building challenges before we even got the title change, right? I could see Ciampa. I'm not too interested in seeing Kevin Knight at this moment take a loss, so I wouldn't put Kevin Knight and Darby, because keep his momentum strong. He just won the TNT champion. Keep his momentum strong. He doesn't need to take a loss to Darby Allin, right? I think that Darby Allin's going to have a fun month. He's going to be a fighting champion. I could see a scenario where week in and week out, just to get some title defenses under this reign, because we know it's going to be a short reign, week in and week out. I could see Darby Allin defending that title. So we have about 4 weeks before the next pay-per-view. That's going to be fun to see who steps up to the plate. So yeah, let's see. This was a way for Tony Khan. You want a Mania moment. Here you go. Let's get Darby winning the champion. Yeah, I definitely feel like this is even bigger because of what this weekend is. This is WrestleMania week. AEW was not going to be in the shadows of WrestleMania week. They had a huge breaking news story. Kofi in the building. What is up? And right before we give our ratings, we did see MJF in the opening segment mention Andrade. He didn't even know that Andrade lost the matchup to Darby Allin. And we've been saying that we would like to see Darby Allin and MJF. Do you think in the next month or so we see Andrade and MJF? Do you think that we see that matchup in the next month or so? Because MJF is pissed off that Andrade lost this matchup. He thought it was easy money for Andrade to beat Darby Allin. Then Darby Allin will be just in the background. He didn't have to deal with him. Andrade loses matchup, and it's clear that Andrade is going babyface. So do we think we're seeing Andrade versus MJF in the build to Double or Nothing?
What if we're looking at this all wrong? Like, what if we're just so fixated on Max getting the belt back at Double or Nothing, Maybe Max and Darby isn't the rematch. Maybe that doesn't go down at Double or Nothing. Maybe it's Max and Andrade at Double or Nothing, like you're talking about right here. I mean, Max could blame himself all he wants. He can blame Tony Khan for setting the matchup, but at the end of the day, he paid Andrade a lot of fucking money to get the job done. He paid the Don Callis family a lot of money to get the job done and take Darby Allin out, so he didn't have to defend the belt against him. Maybe that's it. And Andrade shook Darby's hand after the match. He put him over. Andrade has very much been face, right? Like, I mean, he's when you watch Andrade wrestle, do you get heel vibes from Andrade or do you get face
at
vibes?
all? Not at all. He's that cool baby face, the guy who just oozes machismo, and I love that about him. So I think, especially after Sunday, start the separation. He separates from the Don Callis family, and he's just doing his own thing, you know?
Yes, and that could very much set up a high upper echelon, upper card match against MJF at Double or Nothing. And then that leaves Darby to have a world title match. Now, obviously, it won't be Darby and Ciampa for the world title. But hey, maybe Darby and Kenny have some. Have we ever seen Darby and Kenny one-on-one in AEW? I think we said no, right?
No, yeah, it never happened. Two guys who's been there since year one. I mean, literally, Darby, I think, debuted on the second event. So almost since day one. And there was never a Darby versus Darby versus Kenny match. That would be fun. That would be a lot of fun.
And I don't know how you get there because Kenny just lost clean for the world title. So in the main event of the previous pay-per-view. So I don't know how you just like get a world title shot against another guy who's a new world champion. So it'll probably just be Darby and MJF, and this fantasy booking is just merely fantasy booking. But at the end of the day, dude, I think that this MJF Andrade thing has a lot of legs, and you could really say that it was Andrade's fault as to why Max lost his title tonight.
100%. And I just want to say that matchup. I think that they would have put on a hell of a matchup. I think they would complement each other's styles really well. So I'm all for MJF and Andrade. But let's give our ratings. What do you rate this Dynamite from a whole? You know, top to bottom, like we said, we had stories. We had the story play out of Darby Allin possibly getting the shot in the first matchup, building it up. We had Sting. We had the video packages, and then getting the big moment in the main event. We had good matches in between. Out of 5, what do you give it?
I'm going to give it a very strong 4.5, dude. A very, very strong 4.5. The world title change was fucking awesome. Again, kind of expected it going in once, you know, all the thoughts in Washington. Once I saw Darby crying to start the show, I was like, oh shit, I texted you right away. I'm like, oh, he's been in this title, dude. Like, well, first I was angry because I thought the match was going on. But
me too.
Once I realized, once Max came out in a suit, I was like, oh, this is good. This is gold, baby. Man, a strong 4.5 out of 5. The in-ring was very good all night. Again, I was disappointed with the FTR stuff. I was disappointed with the Jericho stuff. Not because the segments weren't good. Those segments were really good, but I was disappointed that we didn't see some sort of like next steps towards their Double or Nothing feuds. However, that Darby Allin moment really put the icing on the cake for me. So a strong, very, very strong 4.5 out of 5. Love the title change.
Now, yeah, I'm right there with you. I'm in agreement. I already put down the rating too before we even hopped on. 4.5 out of 5 is a very strong grade for it. I think that more than the in-ring stuff, more than the segments, just based off the pure emotion of the night. Like you said, Darby Allin coming out with tears in his eyes. Darby Allin having Sting there, who's his mentor, and then finally winning the title. The emotion alone bumps it up for me. And I think that when you have a wrestling show that runs off emotion as opposed to a wrestling show that just runs off of great matches and segments, it's always going to win because emotion is what brings us, you know, if you look at, not to talk about the competition here, but I always talk about like Cody and Roman in ring was a pretty, you know, average matchup for WrestleMania 40, but the emotion of that matchup and having the story of everyone coming out and then the emotion of Cody winning the title, that made that matchup one of the greatest matches of all time, if you ask me. And I think something like this, where you have Darby Allin get his moment. Darby Allin is in his hometown. He was in front of his family. And the line that he said in the beginning of the show, that he told himself when he started training that he is going to start as Darby, he's going to finish as Darby, and tonight he wins the title as Darby, and that's exactly what happened. Beautiful, picture perfect. I'm going with 4.5 out of 5. If the other segments hit better, I think that this could have been a good contender for a 5 out of 5 because it felt like it was close to being a perfect show. There was just a few things that brought it down slightly, but overall, this was a huge night for Darby Allin, a huge night for AEW, and I think this was a really good Dynamite.
And AEW is going to be the talk of the week, bro. Bakley texted me earlier. He goes, it doesn't even feel like WrestleMania week. I said, dude, didn't even watch fucking Raw, man. He said, horrible show. I caught the highlights on YouTube. Listen, it doesn't feel like WrestleMania week. And I think it was Bakley who hit it in the comments earlier, or maybe it was Steven. Dude, or it was Poppy, sorry. Doing this with a homegrown talent like Darby Allin, and like you just said, getting to feel the fucking emotion behind it the week of WrestleMania I don't know, man. I'm not feeling it a lot. WrestleMania just does not feel like WrestleMania week to me at all, man. And I'm in agreement with Bakley there. And this right here, this is Tony Khan. It was a great interview with Coach and Bro last week. I think it was last week. And Vince Russo's like, just fucking turn it up. You've got them on the fucking ropes, Tony. Stick your fucking foot on their throats and put them down. This is one of those moves. Fuck yeah. Putting the world title on an OG that everyone is behind.
Is there anybody who doesn't like Darby? Darby is the man. Everyone loves Darby. And I think that if you want to have a cult favorite in AEW, this is the guy to do it. I like what Bakley said here. He said Darby is the first AEW wrestler to win the AEW World Champion, TNT Champion, and the Tag Team Champions. Insane. Triple Crown.
Cool.
Darby Allin deserves it, man. I am very happy. And with that being said, I got nothing else to say. What a great show. Shout out to Darby Allin. Congratulations, man. And I just love how they made us a believer because, like I said, for weeks we were saying Darby Allin doesn't belong in this picture right now. We have so many other contenders. I'm just so glad that Darby Allin is the champion right now. It's really, a roller coaster. It's awesome. But with that being said, thank you so much to everybody who's in the chat. Thank you so much to everyone who's in the room checking us out. If you are here, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button to the Circle of Debate. We are here every single day. We have watch-alongs every single day. And this weekend, like we just mentioned, is WrestleMania. We're going to be doing the watch-along of WrestleMania. So make sure you are hitting that subscribe button and don't miss any of the action. TK, where can they find you?
Yeah, man. I might be dropping another episode with Jameson this week at some point, maybe more WrestleMania predictions or something. He killed his AEW Dynasty predictions. I think he got them all right. And he took Orange Cassidy's squad, and I didn't. So I thought we had like 26 wrestling fans who took the dogs. He took the conglomeration, so good on him. But we'll be around. But you can always find me right here on Circle of Debate with you guys. We still got a ton of people watching. We got 65 people plus over on Twitter right now watching. We really appreciate you guys. If you guys can, do us a favor. Swing on over to YouTube. Circle of Debate is the channel. Throw a like on this video for us and subscribe to the channel. Like De Niro said, we got watch-alongs every single night. Sometimes 2 watch-alongs in a night. And you got some post shows like this. Every Wednesday, we're live doing this thing. You guys have been here all night. We really appreciate that. We'd love to interact with you guys. So swing on over to YouTube, Circle of Debate, subscribe, and come on back next week, next Wednesday night, and join us for the AEW Dynamite post show.
Yep, I love it. With that being said, thank you again, everybody watching. Thank you for everyone who commented. Thank you so much for all the support, all the love. Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. We'll see you next week with the All Elite Dirt Sheet. Peace out.
Like a CEO, I'm